Is Draymond a fake tough guy? Is he calculated?
Meaning, what does that mean?
That means that he is very good at engaging.
Maybe he just hasn't. I think what Kmart is saying is that he hasn't started something with the wrong person. For instance, you remember when Boogie Cousins, DeMarcus Cousins, went against Zach Randolph and was trying that with Zach Randolph, and Zach Randolph said, "I put fear in the bullies." He picked on the wrong one, because DeMarcus used to go after just about everyone, but he wouldn't go after Zach Randolph, right? And I think that's what Kmart is saying. Like, you're not going after the real tough. You're not going after all the enforcers.
Draymond Green just made the biggest mistake of his career, and it wasn't even about basketball. One word turned a normal podcast into a full-blown fight. Now 2 of the NBA's toughest players are in a feud, with legends choosing sides and old locker room stories coming out. This isn't just online chatter. This is pride against pride, and neither is backing down.
He did get suspended a lot.
He got suspended a lot. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated and said flagrant flyer because he was flagrant fouling people. Who else does that sound like? Draymond, right? Y'all are very, very similar. You are both at your peak, elite defenders. So please stop arguing. Neither of you guys are going to win this argument. You guys are not going to win it. You both are some of the greatest I've ever seen. You both are a little different, all right? But just know this, Dre, I will respect Kenyon because I fought him in a locker room, right? Because we were chirping back and forth.
Why would you do that?
Because I'm crazy too. I'm just a different type of crazy of these two. But I'm just saying, Dre, if he would fight Tracy McGrady and he would fight Karl Malone and he would fight damn near anyone in the NBA, and I saw him do and talk to everyone that way, you and him would have fought. And that's kind of what Kenyon liked. And you would have been okay with it. But make no mistake, if you would have tried to talk to him like you've talked to other players, that would have never been allowed. I watched it for multiple years. That was not allowed. And you would have still did it, and y'all would have fought. That's the only thing that I'm telling you, that's factual. And Kenyon, I'm going to express to you, Draymond is special. He's annoying because all the things you don't like about yourself, you see in him, right? He's annoying. He is the most important defender of this generation. Draymond is. So stop disrespecting each other. Start to support each other and squash this. Because y'all both a little different, but what y'all both accomplished is game changing. Kenyon took a franchise with no relevance and took them to the finals based off of his defense. And once he left, they have not been to the conference finals since. That shows who he is, and it's very similar to who Draymond.
It all started when Kenyon Martin went on Gil's Arena and hit Draymond with a brutal attack. Not just on his game, but on his character. Martin called Draymond soft, a fake tough guy who only picks fights he knows he can win. In NBA terms, that's a heavy insult. You can say someone is overrated or lucky, but calling them soft? That hits deep. Draymond didn't take it lightly, especially coming from a fellow Michigan guy. Both grew up where loyalty is everything, and Draymond expected hometown players to have each other's backs, not bash each other on podcasts for clicks. So when Kenyon threw that jab, Draymond took it personally. He fired back on the Draymond Green show with a savage response, calling Kenyon an underachiever, a #1 pick with only 1 All-Star appearance, no rings, and 0 all-defensive honors. Draymond basically said, "Even if I quit today, my career still outshines yours." And that's when things exploded. Kenyon wasn't backing down. He went live on Instagram to defend himself and keep the war going. He reminded fans that he took the Nets to the NBA Finals in just his 2nd season, a feat only legends like Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Walton, and Elgin Baylor ever pulled off. That's elite company, and Kenyon made sure everyone knew it. Then he hit Draymond with a stat that left jaws on the floor. Draymond's got more games scoring 0 points, 46, than games scoring 20 or more, 44. Fans went wild. The message was clear: you're calling me an underachiever, but you're the one disappearing on offense. Sure, Draymond has rings, But Kenyon argued he earned his scars the real way, through battles, not by riding the coattails of superstars. That's when NBA legends started weighing in and things went nuclear. Reggie Miller, the Hall of Fame sharpshooter who knows real toughness, spoke on the Dan Patrick Show. He said he understood exactly what Kenyon meant by calling Draymond a fake tough guy. Then Reggie dropped an example that shut the studio down. It was a moment everyone remembers, when DeMarcus Cousins tried to step to Zach Randolph, a man who never backs down. Cousins, known for barking in people's faces and trying to intimidate anyone in front of him, suddenly met a real test of toughness. This wasn't just about words anymore. It was about who the NBA truly respects when the cameras go off and the real battles start. But when Cousins tried that on Randolph, it backfired immediately. Randolph didn't flinch. He just stared him down and said a line that shook the whole league. "I put fear in the bullies." That one sentence changed everything. From that day on, Cousins never tested Randolph again. That's exactly the point Reggie Miller used to explain what Kenyon Martin meant about Draymond. Miller broke it down clearly. Kenyon was saying Draymond has never picked a real fight. He talks loud, bumps guys, throws cheap shots, but only at players who won't actually swing back. According to Kenyon, and now Reggie, Draymond knows exactly who to provoke and who to avoid.
This is how I'm going to lead into Draymond. Kenyon was so elite, we never went to the finals again without him. We never went to another conference finals. We went to multiple playoffs, we never went to another conference. Obviously, Kenyon had, I think, the knee surgery, the microfracture, so he was a good player, but never the ability to be a great player, in my opinion. I love you, Kenyon, but that's just the truth after the knee surgery. But Kenyon was that dude. Now, Draymond, part of the reason why many months ago I said, Draymond, you are the most important defender of this generation, and that's based off of my knowledge of Kenyon Martin. That's my knowledge of Kenyon Martin and what he would do, right? That's why in Golden State, if they lose you, right, it's a problem. Same way when we lost Kenyon, we never went to a conference final. Now, to Kenyon's point, Dre, I love you to death. Kenyon, he was a little different up there, right? There's that Ron Artest, there's that Kenyon Martin gene, right? Where it's like, hey, you don't want them to see red. You don't want those Bulls to see red. I personally don't believe that if you two were on the court at the exact same time and you were being Draymond and he was being Kenyon, if this was 2004, Dre, you would have had some issues. If it was 2020, I think the dynamic is different. It's not allowed to get that way. If you were playing with Kenyon, because I watched him club Karl Malone, I watched him club Tracy McGrady, and part of the reason why I got the start, or they traded Keith Van Horn, is because every time Kenyon would get suspended, and it was a lot, I would get to start. I would become the starting small forward. So that's what I'm expressing, is that if you, and this is not saying that Draymond, you would have talked how you talk, because that's who you are. But if you would have talked like that to Kenyon in 2004, when he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated with his chest out saying badass yellow boy, and the NBA told him he had to stop showing that tattoo when he would dunk on people, y'all would have fought 100%. I saw him, y'all would have fought 100%.
I saw him. Y'all would have fought 100%, Miller said bluntly. He wasn't holding back. Draymond wasn't going after the real tough guys. Coming from Reggie, that landed hard. Miller lived through an era where toughness wasn't for show. It was survival. He went up against the bad boy Pistons, squads with Anthony Mason and Charles Oakley, men who'd hit first and ask questions later. So when Reggie backed Kenyon's take, it carried serious weight. Then came the twist nobody saw coming. Richard Jefferson jumped in. On his Road Trip podcast, RJ spoke directly to both Draymond and Kenyon, and fans were shocked. Jefferson had lived around both personalities, shared locker rooms, seen tempers explode, and even admitted he once got into a real fight with Kenyon Martin during their Nets days. Let that sink in. RJ, one of the calmest players of his generation, actually threw hands with Kenyon. That shows how fiery Kenyon was back then. Jefferson didn't hold back. He started by giving Kenyon massive respect, saying that when Martin entered the league in 2000 as the #1 pick, fresh off a brutal college injury. He immediately changed the Nets' culture. The team was supposed to be bottom tier, but with Jason Kidd running point and Kenyon locking down the paint, everything flipped. They stormed through the East, shocked everyone, and made it to the NBA Finals. RJ called Kenyon one of the most elite defenders he'd ever seen. Physically insane, loud, relentless, a total menace on defense.